I would say project-based learning, basically, it's something that allows students to take ownership of their learning through the
Mhm.
projects that are meaningful to them, and also solving, specific real world problem, etc. And also encourage students to take decisions, think critically, collaborative, superficial project-based learning. I won't call it project-based learning. It's just like a
Okay.
project or a project learning. But project-based learning should be, through the whole unit. And a lot of different educational stakeholders should collaborative to give the students a real, I would say, effective, meaningful PBL experience.
Welcome to today's episode of SELINTalks podcast, where we're thrilled to have Zhang, a seasoned international educator with the passion of integrating innovative teaching methods and technologies into education. Join us as Justin discusses his strategic approach, instructional leadership and literacy, and how he uses technology to enhance the educational experience. In this episode, Justin shares his journey from classroom teaching to becoming a leader in educational reform. He'll talk about transformative power of project-based learning and effectiveness of high-impact teaching strategies with the critical role of personalized learning environments in fostering student agencies and cognitive growth. We'll also explore Justin's insights on cultural differences in language learning, his use of e-portfolios to promote student agency, and his perspective on the necessary adaptation in modern education to better prepare our students for becoming a global citizen. So grab your headphones and prepare to be inspired by Justin's forward-thinking ideas and practical solutions for today's educators. Let's jump right into this enlightening conversation with Zhang. Thank you so much for being part of this. I am really, really glad that we're having this conversation. How are you feeling today?
Great, great. Thank you. And also, it's really great pleasure to be here and having this conversation with you. Yeah.
So, with your extensive experience across different countries and curricula, if you
hmm
could design an ideal school from scratch, what would be its most distinctive feature?
I think that's a very good question. There are a lot of different things to consider, but if I were to design an ideal school from scratch, it's the most distinctive feature would be a truly, I would say, personalized and adaptive learning environment for each student. This means not only tailoring the curriculum to the needs and pace of each student, but also integrating technology, of course, including generative AI and the real world contexts and real world scenarios to make learning really dynamic and also applicable. Because I'm really into adaptive learning. This adaptive learning environment would leverage, for example, data and also technology to further understand and predict students' learning patterns and needs, and thus providing them with personalized learning or educational journey with AI bots or AI tutor, and promotes their strength and address their weaknesses, etc. So the differentiation and inclusion is natural in this way. And they're everything all within a community that values emotional, social, and cognitive growth equally. Because I do think well-being and social emotional learning are also very important. And in this context, learning, it's, as what I mentioned, highly student-centered and inquiry-based, and teachers will definitely change their role from being a lecturer or instructor to transform them to serve as facilitators and mentors. And
Hmm.
also the curriculum and instruction would, fluidly adapt into the in real time to keep each student in their zone of we call it ZPD, zone of proximal development. And there will also be a lot of collaborative learning and experiential learning opportunities throughout the whole journey to address their 21st century skills development. In the IB, we call it ATL skills. Yeah.
Wow, it's visionary for sure. I think in few months or years down the lane, we'll be able to do all of this. Let's backtrack a little bit. What initially drew you into the field of education, and what motivated you to focus especially on curriculum, instruction, and assessment?
Yeah. What drew me into education initially, actually, the first thing is the deep curiosity about how we people naturally learn and also a desire to make
Hmm.
a positive impact. Because I've always been fascinated by human capacity for growth and the transformative power of learning. And at the same time, I recognize that so many learners struggle with traditional educational models, including me
Yeah,
myself.
same.
Because I was educated I mean, my K to 12 education in a very small town in China in a very traditional rote learning way. And I started to question about my way of learning. Why am I doing this? Why my teacher asked me to do this? These sort of questions since I was in high school. And I'm not saying that, there's like no good things about the traditional ways of education. I think they can train students to be diligent and hardworking. However, really, it's not, practicing students inquiring or, thinking skills, etc. So I think my passion in education started from that time, curiosity, and keep thinking about, oh, what are the, other models or ways to perceive education? So I think started from that time, and I want to understand how and why we could do better in terms of
Mm,
education. So yeah, so that's the initial stage. And the curiosity and also the passion expanded during my earlier teaching experiences and also further education in different countries, and where I saw the profound impact effective teaching methodology and well-designed
mm.
curriculum for or some frameworks such as IB, which I'm really interested in and I'm currently working on. And I think addressing students' engagement and focusing on conceptual understanding and inquiry and focusing on the ATL skills development, not just the content, but also knowledge and skills. So content, knowledge, skills should all be considered. Yeah, so that's something that I always, emphasize.
Right. Next part of the question was what actually motivated you to focus specifically on curriculum instruction and assessment?
Yeah. So because I think curriculum assessment and instruction, these three areas, they're I would say core elements in school education,
True.
because for any school, I mean, existing school, first need to have a curriculum, either, the school-based curriculum, or they can adapt a certain curriculum, national curriculum or IB, or, British school might use a British curriculum, etc. And after that, they have the curriculum, but how do they deliver the curriculum? So that's why we have the instruction. And how
Mm.
do they know the curriculum they are delivered well, and if the students are understanding or not? So that's why we need assessment. So I think these are the three core components directly related to teaching and learning. So that's why I focus on these three areas specifically. And I think these are fundamental in crafting educational experiences that are both meaningful and effective and further prepare students not just academically, but also global citizens, addressing these three areas.
I really love the term global citizens because I've been doing these conversations for a while now, and it's very humbling and a very different experience to be able to share this vision with so many educators of
Exactly.
making, future generation being global citizens, not just the citizens of a particular nation. And that
Yeah,
involves a lot of hard work from the educator side, from the people who are in education, being a stakeholder in the entire education sector. While
yeah.
yeah, so that is something that I really have been seeing that pattern, and I love that because if there are so many people working towards it, it's going to happen. At least you believe it's going to happen, right?
Yeah, where's a well, there's a way, and we're all making a difference. And yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's also part of the, elements of future education, because we do not want our students to live in a silo, and we want them to be open-minded with growth mindset to be a global citizen. So that's why we address multilingualism, we address intercultural understanding, and we're emphasizing language learning even at the era of generative AI. Like some people say, oh, we don't need to learn another language because we can use AI as a translator, but we won't fully understand that culture just using
Yeah.
AI. So yeah.
Yeah. We were just talking about AI, and like you mentioned, moving into like a cutting edge topics. How do you
Yeah.
see generative AI shaping the future of education, particularly in how we develop and access curricula?
Yeah. So I think the rise of Gen AI marks an exciting new chapter of education. It will revolutionize education. Some teacher might say, oh, maybe they will replace me in the future, but I do believe AI will not replace educators, but they will replace some educators who do not know how to use AI effectively. I'm sorry to
True.
say that.
No,
Yeah.
no, it's a truth.
Yeah, and it can be used actually in education in various ways. Actually,
Yeah.
I wrote a paper and published a paper last year synthesizing the research on ChatGPT using K to 12 education. At the beginning, I thought, oh, they can just use in school setting for teachers. And actually, I identified from research that they could be used for various stakeholders, teachers, students, parents, school leaders, etc. And today, just as what you mentioned, maybe we just focus on teaching and learning parts, the curriculum and assessment part. So for curriculum, Gen AI can be a very powerful tool for teachers to
Hmm.
co-design curriculum. I don't want to use the word to, oh, I just throw away something to AI and then help me to design. I use the word co-design
Hmm.
because usually when you give a prompt, you have your own thought and you're guiding the conversation. And the first generated content, it's usually not the ideal one. So
Hmm.
you will find,
True.
oh, what are the, how do we further optimize it? And you further give prompts. So that's why we call it co-design and to do the curriculum mapping. That's why I like the word co-design, and it's also the area that I'm currently working on, because
Hmm.
as an educator, we use our professional judgment and we utilizing AI to optimize and co-construct the curriculum. So for curriculum, we do the horizontal and vertical mapping, right? So
Hmm.
AI can actually really make a difference. For example, for IB educators, a lot of new IB educators might struggle with unit planner because the conceptual understanding, statement of inquiry for MYP, etc. They're quite challenging for the big
Yeah.
units, big unit plans. So I created some customized bot for designing PYP, MYP, and DP unit planners and feed it
Wow.
with IB framework and documents, etc. These tools are all free to use. I mean, if our audience want to use them, I can also share with our audience. Yeah.
Please
So
do.
sure, sure. Yeah, I mean, I can send these tools to you later. I'm still currently working on it. Now I have all MIP, PYP for language acquisition. I'm working on other subjects as well. So my goal is within 1 year, I try to finish the curriculum design tool for all, I mean, make it all free. It's on poll. It's just like customized for all IB educators. That's also one of my passion for now. Yeah. So that's for the curriculum part, because curriculum co-design tools can actually really save educators time, energy,
True.
and making the curriculum mapping more efficient. But we use the word co-design, so don't worry about plagiarism because we're not plagiarizing.
I really like that you're mentioning it co-design. I have been having these conversations a lot wherein people just tell me that, oh, this is from ChatGPT. It's not that great. It is going to give you result exactly what you're going to prompt it.
Yeah, and also, when I talk with ChatGPT, you talk with ChatGPT, maybe we even use a similar prompts, but I
Mm,
mean, similar but different prompts. We always get the different things. So, and we always, give further prompts. So don't worry about I would say, don't worry about, plagiarism. Of course, don't use it for academic writing, but for lesson planning, you're actually co-designing.
mm,
However,
mm,
we also need to train educators to how to do co-design. If they just say, oh, give me blah blah blah, and they don't give further input, maybe they don't
mm-hmm.
get the thing they want, or a low
Yeah.
quality unit plan. So that's something we should work on. But co-design is an ideal way to sort of like interact with AI, to treat AI as our TA instead of our, enemy.
I was just about to say that it's like having like a research buddy 24/7. I was
Yeah,
just about to
exactly.
say that.
Yeah, a
Yeah.
research buddy or a TA.
Yeah, I like the TA better, but yeah, it's good. I mean, you can actually brainstorm, you can actually see if the direction is going, because if the direction is not going in place, you know that the response is going to be something completely out of the place, right? So that is
Exactly.
something that I really find very intriguing. If people are going to use it like a buddy, like an extended support system, it's
Yeah.
a great tool rather than being scared of it, rather than thinking it might just replace us. It's not going to replace. There's a human touch to all of these things,
Yeah.
right?
Okay. So for assessment part, I mean, there are a lot of things to cover, but I will just
Of
talk
course.
about some, key things that I'm currently thinking about. Because for assessment, I think AI can assist in creating very, I would say, customized, like what I just mentioned, customized and
Hmm.
adaptive learning and also personalized learning to cater to the unique needs of each learner. And also,
Hmm.
one thing that AI can actually help us, it's a real-time assessment and adaptive assessment. Because, for some high-stake assessment, I won't say which assessment, a lot of different high-stake assessment, there's a risk of leaking. I mean, we call it plagiarism.
Hmm.
However, if we have real-time assessment or, adaptive assessment, assessing students' capacity, that
Hmm.
way, I think also it decrease the possibility of plagiarism. That's just one thing, and also it's more suited to students learning, the personalized learning.
True. True.
And yeah, apart from that, I think AI can also be used to. That's something that I'm very interested in and currently working on. Inquiry facilitator. Have you ever heard of
Wow.
something?
Yes, I have somewhere. Yes.
Yeah, because usually traditionally when we ask a question to AI, they just give us an answer, right? We say, "Oh,
Hmm.
what is communication?" They say, "Communication is blah 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 blah," and they give
Yeah.
the answer. However, we don't want our students to just, because I know I started to think about this because I noticed I introduced the tools to my students, and my students started to use AI everywhere, and they stop thinking. They just say, "Oh," when they don't have and don't know something, they just ask AI to get the answer. I feel like it's very bad for their critical thinking and also their thinking
True.
skills. So I started to think, oh, what if we just, train AI to ask further questions, guide the students through the thinking. However, they do not tell the answer until the students explore the answer in the end. So that's something that I'm really interested in. So I call it inquiry facilitator.
Hmm.
So the students can actually ask question, and then the AI won't give an answer, but they will ask further questions or giving suggestions to guide the students like an facilitator
I
to
get it. I
yeah,
get it.
deal with that
Yeah.
question. Yeah,
I think I've done this with a lot of, so I have trained one or two bots here,
yeah,
and then I have trained them specifically if I'm asking a question or there is
yeah,
something that I really want to like brainstorm on, I keep asking them to ask me questions so that I am brainstorming. So again, it's
exactly.
like an assist. It's not giving me the answer. It is not giving me, okay, this is blah 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 blah, A, B, C, D, and all of those
Yeah,
things. But it's actually asking question. Imagine, you rightly said, if this happens with kids, it's going to actually help them with critical thinking, and
yeah.
it's going to be some level.
Exactly. Yeah, I totally agree. And also, I think you mentioned the GPT-4o. You
Yes.
watched the video about the math learning from Khan Academy, right?
Yeah.
And the GPT-4o is actually, as a tutor and also inquiry facilitator, they didn't just give the answer to the student, right? And they just,
Yeah.
ask questions and guide through the thinking, and finally the students find the answer. And that's
Hmm.
how I think in the future GPT-4o will revolutionize the tutoring and even educational industry.
I think there are so many things coming this year, and I think we're going to be equally shocked, surprised. and a lot many things. So I was very excited last night to see what was happening. And then
Yeah,
there are always pro and cons to things. It's the way you look at it. So I looked at it in a very different manner, but I really love how it is evolving this
yeah,
fast. So
yeah,
it's an alert that people should know that you really need to now come on, like, make AI your friend rather than an enemy.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
another exciting thing about GPT-4o is that they improve the multimodality skills, so which means ability.
Yes.
So maybe, I mean, in the future they can read text or maybe audio and now audio, video. So they don't need to, just transform the audio to the text and then understand. It's much faster. You can just talk
Mm,
directly to AI, and you can take a picture for little kids, younger kids. They explore the world by observation or touching,
mm,
right? And they can also use some technology instead of just texting the little kids. They would do not recommend little kids to text a lot, but they can take a picture, they can scan, and they can, ask questions by talking to AI. I think there's a lot of cool things to explore. And I think in the upcoming months, there will be a lot of new applications and yeah, in this area.
yeah. I love the fact that it is so the voice modulation is amazing. There was
Yeah.
this once that so the kid is actually pointing the camera to the math problem, and it
Mhm.
gives an answer. It does give an answer, like you said. It does analyze and ask the person the question. Then there was GPT-4o singing to uplift the mood, and then there are so many things. It's very exciting. We can
Yeah.
talk on and on about GPT-4o though.
Exactly. That's something that I'm really interested in, and it's just amazing.
Awesome. So, moving back to empowering teacher, it's a very
Hmm.
crucial setting. We were just talking about how educators really need to, if they are not yet, they need to upgrade. They are very integral part of education setting. Can you share an example of a strategy or a program you have implemented that
Yeah.
significantly empower teachers?
Yeah, absolutely. Then let me share just a little bit about how I'm using, again, AI to empower IB
Love this.
educators in my role as an IB educator certificate director in my new role in Korea in the university. And apart from AI, I mean, I think today we talk too much about AI. I'll also talk about something else. But yeah, first, how do I use AI as what I mentioned? From the curriculum to instruction to assessment, I created a lot of AI tools and train the teachers how to use the AI tools effectively to be their co-designer or their
Mm,
TA to plan the curriculum, deliver the curriculum, and assess effectively.
mm,
So that's something that I use AI to, or also empower them with AI literacy, how to implicitly and explicitly teach AI literacy among their students. First, teach them, and also empower them to teach AI literacy explicitly to their students, etc. So that's one thing using AI. And the second one, I would say it's the community because I love AI. I also like, humanity, our human beings, because human connection can never be replaced by AI. That's why I do love online talking and communication, but it will be great. I mean, one day if we can sit in a cafe and have some face-to-face conversation, because human connection can never be replaced, right?
true, very true.
Yeah. So that's why I'm currently organizing some, however, because of the restriction of the geographic restriction, I'm currently offering some opportunities like we call it community of practice, or in IB they call it job alike. So some opportunities for IB educators to meet online and to share their expertise and experiences, and we have some guest speaker, etc. However, in the future, I want to make it more like offline as well, face to face, like sharing session, etc. So that these are some different ways that I use to empower educators using this community of practice, a group of educators to who have similar interests and discuss a certain topic or their pedagogical practices together, and to gain collective intelligence. Yeah, so these are the two ways that I currently use to empower educators.
Awesome. I think community goes a long way, and there is something that can never fail a human being in
Yeah,
existence.
exactly. Totally
Yeah.
agree.
All
I
right.
like
So
the
we
word
talked
keep the
about,
human in the loop.
yes. Oh, I love this. Yes. I think I'm going to title this podcast this. I love this. I'm glad. Oh, also, by the way, AI is also taking the summary of this, so it's easier for me to remember. Like you said, the traditional methods of learning never sat with a
Hmm.
lot of us. So so if I tell you something that, okay, I need to remember this, AI has helped me do this a lot,
Exactly.
specifically from somebody who comes from a neurodivergent spectrum. It is amazing. We're shifting our focus from teachers to students, although we did talk about the methods that you have been implementing, the kind of work that you've been doing. What approaches do you advocate for to enhance the learner agency and empowerment in classroom?
Yeah, so for learner agency, there is actually a lot of different approaches, but I will just share some of them that I'm currently practicing. The first one is project-based learning, and this is not something new. A lot of educators are actually
Yes.
implementing it. So I won't spend most of the time on project-based learning, but I would say project-based learning, basically, it's something that allows students to take ownership of their learning through the
Mm-hmm.
projects that are meaningful to them, and also solving specific real world problem, etc., and also encourage students to take decisions, think critically, collaborative, etc. But apart from this, superficial project-based learning, I won't call it project-based learning. It's just like a
Okay.
project or a project learning. But project-based learning should be, through the whole unit, and a lot of different educational stakeholders should collaborative to give the students a real, I would say, effective, meaningful PBL experience. So that's something that I want to address. And the second one, it's related to my PhD study, which I just completed. It's about e-portfolio. It's something doesn't sound very new. It's not like AI, something new and very trendy. It's old style, but it's not fully used yet. So we might know what
Mm.
is e-portfolio. It's portfolio, electronic portfolio. So it can be a folder or it can be a website. In my case, I use Google Site. It's just like a Google
Mm.
website. So if we use the portfolio effectively, actually, we can enact or address student agency. I did several studies within my school and also in other schools. We identified that actually students' agency can improve during the e-portfolio learning process, because if we use it effectively, of course. So I also
Right.
introduced a model. We call it, so first it's the implementation, we call it co-peers. Again, we call it co-design. Human,
Mm.
and not human AI, but yeah, we add the AI elements in the end. So teacher, their learning peer, and also themselves. So different stakeholders co-design. So from the beginning, planning, we call it co-peers. So co-design, collaborative peers. What are peers? P referred to planning, and I, it's implementation, and R, it's reflection, and S, it's showcase. So during the project or a learning task, students first, they can set the learning goals with the teachers
Mm-hmm.
or their learning peers, and then further explore either through inquiry or different other strategies, and implement, and then during their learning journey, ongoing reflection to address their metacognition. It's very important. So that is related to reflection. And at the end of the loop, they need to showcase to increase their extrinsic and intrinsic motivation, and also their presentational and communication skills to present their work. So, and ePortfolio is also an archive of their learning. So based on
Mm.
the previous study that I did, a lot of students, they during the interview, they said, "Oh, we like ePortfolio because I think at the end of the year, I know what I learned. But previous
Mm.
years, after 1 year, I just got a grade." So I think
Wow.
that's something, you can, students also feel the value of their work and they can also work hard, um, further work harder because they value what they do and they like what they do. However, I think this should be used effectively and to, improve student agency. So these are the two things that I'm currently doing to improve or increase students' agency.
That is very, I love the e-portfolio idea. I think if we did it back in our day till like we were trying to work or find work or building something of our own, it would
Yeah,
have been really amazing.
yeah. So even for now, my new job as a teacher trainer, I also encourage the teachers to make their e-portfolio
Yes.
during their learning.
Yeah. I think like every stakeholder, be it the leader of the school, the teachers, the students, the counselors, everybody should be able to do that because that actually gives them, they value what they learn, like you said, and it's with everybody. If it's a teacher, if they are learning something new in the pedagogy or they're learning new methods or new concept altogether, even they can make that entire thing and can really help. Amazing, amazing idea though. I think we should
Yeah.
implement it all over. This needs to go all out. Last but not the least, I love
Mhm.
having this conversation, by the way. As a
Yeah.
lifelong learner yourself, what is one piece of advice you would give to educators around the world trying to navigate the complexities, the changing of the modern education system?
Yeah, so I would say I would use a short acronym, actually 6 words to end, as a closing, remark. It's called giraffe, but the spelling is a
Okay.
little different. GIRAAF, double A. So I call it giraffe. So
Hmm.
G refer to growth mindset because the growth mindset is very important because the world is rapidly changing, and as an educator we need to be a lifelong learner to develop skill sets and also knowledge continuously. So that's the first one, growth mindset. And we have the second one, I, giraffe. So I, innovation. Innovation is crucial because we talk about a lot about like e-portfolio, generative AI. We live in a high-tech era and the use of
True.
technology is inevitable. So that's why as an educator, we should have the innovative mindset and also skill set to empower ourselves and further empower our students to be innovators. So that's the second
Hmm.
one. And the third one, giraffe, it's resilience. Resilience is about how well we cope and adapt or bounce back when we experience hardship. It doesn't mean that, okay, being a teacher is so difficult, you have to be resilient all the time. But no matter who you are, it's just another career. It's just like other career. It won't be always smooth and successful. If you ever encounter any difficulty, face it, deal with it, embrace the imperfection. I think this is very important. Resilience is related to elasticity, which is important for our growth and also psychological health and well-being. So that's why I add the R in here. And giraffe, the double A in here, we can also put them together. It's agility and also adaptability. So agility basically means the ability to be agile and to adapt or evolve in response to changing circumstances quickly. So I think agility emphasizes speed, responsiveness, and the ability to learn and adjust. These are all important abilities for educators. And another A is adaptability. It's the capacity to learn experiences and adjust to new situation or environments. Because the landscape of education is continually evolving. So being able to be agile and adaptable allow educators to embrace new methodologies, technologies, and ideas that can, I would say, significantly enhance the teaching and the students' learning. And the last one, giraffe, ending with F, is the flexibility. So flexibility also reflects open-mindedness and willingness to change and the ability to adjust plans and schedules, etc. So I think flexibility focuses on being open to new ideas and approaches and being able to modify educational practices and also keep ourselves being updated. So flexibility. So giraffe, GRAAF.
I love this. I'm going to mention this. I'm glad AI is taking the notes here.
Yeah, so this is just like
So
this is just like what I came up with last weekend. I was like, what kind of suggestions shall I have? I don't know which one to choose. Maybe I always like acronyms, so I just think, okay, these are the very important ones. And then I noticed I can use giraffe to connect these several different
it's
points.
amazing. Yeah, it's actually very amazing. I
Thank
love
you.
our conversation. I love the work
Same
that you're
here.
doing. I've been reading about you and I sent you the details even then, even before this podcast. You're doing a great, great, great job. And like you said, maybe we'll get a time wherein, you and I are sitting in a cafe and having this
Exactly.
conversation. Yeah,
That'd be great.
I don't think that's too far. I can do that.
Yeah. Same here. I'm really looking forward to chat in person, and it's always great to talk to educators. I would say like-minded educators. Always feel very inspired and willing to learn more from other practitioners. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for giving us your time. It has been lovely. That's a wrap on our dynamic conversation with Justin. Today, we navigated the exciting intersection of generative AI, high impact teaching strategies, and global classroom. Justin's insights into how AI is transforming education practices and enhancing personalized learning environments offered us a glimpse into the future of teaching and learning. Thanks to Justin for bringing his expertise and enthusiasm, and to all of you for tuning in today. If today's discussion has piqued your interest, keep exploring the possibilities that lie at the forefront of educational technology and innovation. Until next time, keep those mind active. Let these ideas sow and perhaps integrate the use of AI into your teaching toolkit mentioned in the caption below. Stay tuned for more episodes that push the boundaries of education and prepare us all for an interconnected and technological advanced world. Keep learning, keep innovating, and keep having fun while doing it.